Socrates stands as a giant in the history of thought. Born in Athens, Greece in 470 BC, he lived during the city's Golden Age. Unlike the pre-Socratics who focused on the natural world, Socrates was more interested in human affairs. He left no written works, so we know of him through his student Plato. Socrates was an enigmatic figure, often described as a gadfly. He roamed the bustling Athenian marketplace, engaging people from all walks of life in dialogues. He challenged their beliefs, exposed their contradictions, and urged them to examine their lives. Socrates believed that the unexamined life was not worth living. His relentless pursuit of truth and his unconventional methods made him both admired and feared. He questioned everything, from traditional beliefs to the very foundations of Athenian democracy. Socrates' teachings, centered around self-knowledge, virtue, and justice, continue to resonate with us today. The Socratic method, also known as elenchus, is a form of cooperative argumentative dialogue. It is based on asking and answering questions to stimulate critical thinking and illuminate ideas. Socrates used this method to expose contradictions in his interlocutors' beliefs and guide them to more reasoned conclusions. This method begins with Socrates feigning ignorance, asking seemingly simple questions. He would then systematically expose flaws in his companions' reasoning, leading them through a series of questions. This process often resulted in aporia, a state of perplexity where the individual realizes the limitations of their knowledge. Socrates believed that true knowledge came from within. He saw his role as a midwife, helping others give birth to their own understanding. The Socratic method was not about winning arguments, but about pursuing truth and wisdom through rigorous intellectual inquiry. Socrates was a man of simple tastes and unwavering integrity. He shunned material possessions and political power, choosing instead to live a life devoted to philosophical inquiry. He believed that true happiness came not from external goods, but from virtue, which he equated with knowledge. He served with distinction as a hoplite in the Athenian army, demonstrating courage and resilience in battle. He was known for his physical endurance and his ability to withstand hardship. However, his true battlefield was the realm of ideas. He believed that the purpose of life was to become as wise and virtuous as possible. He saw philosophy as a necessary tool for this pursuit, a way to examine one's life and strive for moral excellence. Socrates lived by his principles, even when they brought him into conflict with the authorities. In 399 BC, Socrates was put on trial for impiety and corrupting the youth of Athens. His accusers, including Miletus, Anytus, and Lycon, were prominent citizens who felt threatened by his unconventional views and his criticism of Athenian society. The charges against him were politically motivated, reflecting the growing unease with Socrates' influence. Socrates' trial was a public spectacle held before a jury of 501 Athenian citizens. He defended himself with characteristic wit and eloquence, arguing that he was not guilty of the charges against him. He saw himself as a gadfly, stinging the state into self-awareness. He argued that his questioning was essential for the moral and intellectual health of Athens. Despite his eloquent defense, the jury found Socrates guilty by a narrow margin. His trial represents a clash between tradition and innovation, conformity and dissent. Facing the death penalty, Socrates was given the option to escape prison. His friends and followers urged him to flee, but he refused. He believed that it was his duty to obey the laws of Athens, even if they were unjustly applied in his case. He maintained his composure and dignity until the very end. He spent his final hours discussing philosophical matters with his friends, demonstrating his unwavering commitment to the pursuit of truth. Socrates drank the hemlock, a poison as prescribed by Athenian law, and died peacefully surrounded by his disciples. His death transformed him into a martyr for free thought and intellectual freedom. Socrates' willingness to die for his beliefs served as a powerful example for future generations of philosophers and dissidents. His death became a defining moment in Western intellectual history. Socrates left behind a legacy that continues to shape Western thought. His emphasis on self-examination, his commitment to ethical living, and his belief in the power of reason have resonated through the ages. The Socratic method remains a cornerstone of education and critical thinking. His ideas influenced countless philosophers, from Plato and Aristotle to modern thinkers. His emphasis on dialogue and debate laid the foundation for Western philosophical tradition. Socrates' unwavering pursuit of truth in the face of adversity continues to inspire us today. His life and death serve as a reminder of the importance of questioning assumptions, challenging authority, and living according to our principles. Socrates' legacy is a testament to the power of ideas to change the world.